reason artists, well, perhaps there's plenty, but I know for myself, the reason that as an artist you do any kind of public event is because your very presence usually encourages young people to be like, well, that dude ain't shit. I can break him off. And I think that that's very important. Yeah? I mean, being an artist is only interesting because you're hoping that young people quickly make you irrelevant. Yeah? And I mean, I think it's an important part of the process. Yeah, so I'm hoping there's some young people out there who are thinking, I can take these two dudes. Yeah? We need that. Like, desperately. So, just going to read a small part from the novel. This is just called Wildwood. Again, it's the second person. It's like my torture. Yeah? And it just goes Wildwood. It's never the changes we want that change everything. This is how it all begins. With your mother calling you into the bathroom. You will remember what you were doing at that precise moment for the rest of your life. You were reading Watership Down and the rabbits were making their dash for the boat, and you did not want to stop reading. But then your mother called again, louder, her "I am not fucking around" voice, and you mumbled irritably, "Si, señora." Your mother was standing in front of the medicine cabinet mirror, naked from the waist up, her bra slung around her like a torn sail, the scar on her back as vast and inconsolable as a sea. You want to return to your book to pretend that you had not heard her, but it is too late. Her eyes meet yours, the same big smoky eyes that you will have in the future. "Ven acá," she commands. She is frowning at something on one of her breasts. For the record, your mother's breasts are immensities, one of the wonders of the world, yeah? The only ones that you've seen that are bigger are in nudie magazines and on very, very fat ladies. They're 35 triple Ds, and the areolas are as big as saucers and as black as pitch. And at their edges are fierce little hairs that sometimes your mother plucks and sometimes she does not. These breasts have always embarrassed you, and when you walk in public with her, you are always conscious of them. After her face and her hair, her chest is what your mother is most proud of. Your father, your mother likes to brag, could never get enough of these. But given the fact that he ran off on her after their 3rd year in marriage, it seemed in the end he could, yeah? You dread conversations with your mother, those one-sided dressing downs. You figure that she has called you in to give you another earful about your diet. Your mother is convinced that if you eat more plátanos, you will suddenly acquire her same extraordinary, train-wrecking secondary sex characteristics. Even at that age, you were nothing if not your mother's daughter. You were 12 years old and already as tall as she was, a long, slender-necked ibis of a girl. You had her green eyes, clearer though, and her straight hair, which makes you look more Hindu than Dominican, and a behind that the boys have not been able to stop talking about since the 5th grade, but whose appeal you do not yet understand. You have her complexion too, which means that you are dark. But for all of your similarities, the tides of inheritance have yet to reach your chest. You have only the slightest hint of breast. From most angles, you are flat as a board, and you are thinking that your mother is going to order you to stop wearing bras again, because in her words, they are suffocating your potential breasts, discouraging them from developing. You are ready to argue with your mother to the death because you are as possessive of your new bras as you are of the pads that you can now buy yourself. But no, your mother does not say a word about eating more plátanos. Instead, she takes your right hand and guides you. Your mother is rough in all things, but this time she is gentle. You did not think her capable of it. "Do you feel that?" she asks you. At first, all you feel is the heat of her and the density of the tissue, like a bread that has not stopped rising. She needs your fingers into her. You're as close as the two of you have ever been, and her breathing is what you will remember. Don't you feel that? She turns towards you. Coño, muchacha del diablo, stop looking at me and feel. So, you close your eyes, and your fingers are pushing down, and of course, you are thinking of Helen Keller, and how when you were a little girl, you wanted to be like Helen Keller, except a little more nunnish, yeah? And then suddenly, without warning, you do feel something. A knot just beneath the skin, tight, secretive as a plot. And at that moment, for reasons you will never quite understand, you are overcome by the feeling, the premonition, that something in your life is about to change. You become lightheaded, and you can feel a throbbing in your blood, a beat, a rhythm, a drum. Bright lights zoom through you like photon torpedoes, like comets. You do not know how or why you know this thing, but that you know it cannot be doubted. It is exhilarating. For as long as you have been alive, you have had bruja ways. Your mother will begrudge you that much. Hija de Liborio, she called you after you picked your Diaz winning lottery number, and you assumed Liborio was a relative. That was before Santo Domingo, before you found out about the great power of God. I feel it, you say too loudly, lo siento. And like that, everything changes. Before the winter is out, the doctors remove that breast that you were needing, along with the axillary lymph node. Because of the operations, your mother will have trouble lifting her arm over her head for the rest of her life. Her hair begins to fall out, and one day she pulls all of it out herself, puts it inside a plastic bag. You change too. Not right away, but it happens. And it is in that bathroom where it all begins, where you begin. Thank you.